Hello traders and welcome back to another Sunday special. Thank you very much for joining me for another one of these where we basically go through some technical analysis together and I talk about trading ideas, trading setups, and things that I have on my radar for the upcoming week. As always, feel free to chime in the comment section below. We can get some conversation going there about different markets and some concepts for this week. So before we get too far into the video, I do want to say if you're not already a member of our community, make sure to sign up down below in the description. There's also a discount code there for you as well. If you are interested in trading alongside with me as well as the rest of our community, check it out. You'll see all sorts of perks there. Without further ado, let's take a look at what's going on this week in the markets. We're taking a look here for starters at EURUSD, and we've kind of been in the same old here for EURUSD for a while now. We've been in a range-bound market, just back and forth, not going too far one way or the other, and really just respecting highs and lows. Now, when we have a market environment like this, for me, there's really only two things to be doing. Now, if you are a range-bound trader, if you like back and forth, trading supports, trading resistance, looking for reversals, this sort of environment is actually not so bad. We'll take the moving averages off for a moment, and you can see, again, back and forth here on this market quite a bit. Let me change my color there to black. You can see, again, we've got lows being respected, highs being respected, and really just back and forth market environment here for the last several weeks. Now, this kind of makes sense going into this kind of season where we have a lot of uncertainty around the election, around what's going to happen going into 2021, different policies that may or may not come into place. And so with that, we see a lot of kind of back and forth in markets, because markets, when they're not sure, they're waiting for some sort of catalyst to shoot something one way or the other. Now, we did see a really big spike here to the upside on the euro dollar when it was looking like, and it still is purely from what the news and everything is saying about a potential Biden presidency. Now, we don't know exactly what's going to happen there. We definitely have a lot of back and forth debate going on, but the market is more what we're trying to focus here on, which is basically that led to a strong rally on the euro dollar. Now, we gave a little bit of that back last week, but towards the end of the week, we were able to rally a bit more. Now, the big thing here, looking at the euro dollar, is the question of, can we officially break one way or the other? Because for the most part, we've still just been in this range bound. Because I said that number one would be looking for those range bound plays, but to me, my favorite would be number two, which is looking for the official breakout one way or the other. For example, if we were to break higher, looking for opportunities to continue that breakout could lead us to a bigger move, maybe to like 1.2 here on EURUSD, or maybe even 1.21 by the end of the year. Very, very possible if we get that explosion past this previous resistance. On the flip side, what if we see prices push lower here and actually break through that lower support? Well, for that situation, we could definitely see a move back to something like, 1.14 or 1.15. Those are very possible levels. Now, the reason I say both opportunities is because I don't know exactly where this market is going to go. I try to leave a lot of prediction out of my trading. Rather, what I'm looking for is opportunities that give me a decent risk to reward. So what I mean by that is, let's say it does start to push up and things are looking very weak for the US dollar and strong for the euro. Well, there might be some opportunities from a technical perspective to try and ride some of that momentum by jumping in at a previous level of what was resistance, now turned support. That is one way that I would personally be looking to play it. Very simple. It happens again and again in markets, and it's one of my favorite sort of setups. So that's something to think about. Let's take a look at something else. We'll take a look at gold here, see what's going on with XAU USD. Somewhat similar. We do have a range-bound market here to an extent where we've basically got resistance here right around that 1950 level and support here right around that 1860, let's say, level, give or take. Now, we're back and forth in this market as well. So a break through this level or a break through the top, right? Both of those offer opportunities, in my opinion, for continuation plays. Because this market is indecisive, once it starts to make a decision, I would be interested in looking for opportunities to continue with the move. So that, to me, leaves two favorable trade setups, either of which we could see this week or next week or, whenever it starts to occur. I'm not sure when the market's going to do what. I'm rather just going to adapt to what it decides to do and try and play the best I can with what the trends are doing. So with that said, here on gold, for example, if we were to see a breakdown looking for that retest, we could look for the short opportunity continuation. That's something that I might be looking at going into this week if we were to get it, for example. Again, any trades that I end up actually taking, I will be sharing with the members inside of the community. So again, check that out in the description if you have not already. So let's keep moving. We took a look at gold. We took a look at the euro. What about AUDUSD? We didn't do this one last week, and I wanted to see how, you can actually see price broke through a pretty interesting level here last week, which is this 0.72, let's say 20, just roughly. We saw a break through that level, and we actually retested it there on Thursday just to see a rally on Friday. The question going into this week is this going to look like a bull flag? Because this looks pretty good to me. Because if we were to see, for example, we've got the overall uptrend. We can plot on our 200 period moving average. We're on a daily chart. You can see lots of bullish momentum overall, right? If we were to see something like a bullish flag where we see a continuation here, like a breakout, right? That to me looks not so bad at all for a potential long continuation trade, right? So for example, looking for the extension of this trend to continue and just basically jumping in where we see support, right? Or where we see a rally off of support and a breakthrough resistance, right? You can argue that there's a couple different resistance points here if you want to get nitty gritty, right? You could look at, for example, I would be looking at this. So a break above this to me is a sign of continuation. We've got a lot of bullish momentum overall. If we can't, if sellers can't push that price right back down, to me, I like that opportunity of looking for the continuation, right? Anticipating a breakthrough of these highs and trying to go long. That's just me. That's just my opinion there. So I think there might be some trade setups there, right? For me, that would mean putting a stop underneath support there, which we have bounced off of. If that breaks, then probably not interested in the trade, and looking for that continuation in case we do make a move to the upside with something like a 2-to-1 or more on that trade. So that's one setup that I will be watching for going into this week. Let's briefly take a look at the S&P 500, see what's going on with this. We did close out the week on a bullish note. We saw the week start very strong. We actually made a push right above previous highs, which is, of course, going to be incredibly bullish for the markets. Now, as we look at that, as we test the upper bounds of this range, if we can get a break above, I do think that this market has room to continue higher. We are looking, we're not out of COVID by any means, but we are, slowly making progress, and things are, we did have news about a potential vaccine that was looking good. And we saw a lot of rallies off of that. Question will be, can that continue? I think it's possible that it does continue, and that could be a catalyst to potentially push those technicals through higher points. So that's something that I will be watching out for as well on this week from a shorter time frame, analysis. We've got that daily chart, but looking at something like the 4-hour, the 1-hour chart to look to jump into a trade like that looks pretty decent to me. In fact, a break and retest here was interesting because you had this level in gray that we highlighted, looking for that retest. So far, so good. We'll see if it gets that continued bump going into this week. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this week. Couple trade ideas that I will personally be watching out for. Make sure to join us in the community if you have not already. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you back next time.